office. How come it's so nice here?
You got it.
Come here and meet everybody. Rita, come here.
Yes.
Come here.
To everybody on. Would
Come
you
here.
be nice on water? I'm getting myself a cup.
Come here.
Water.
Come here and say hi to all the online
Let me
people.
take my I'm usually in such feet in the office.
This is Rita. This is Dr. Rita Sharma. And this is her office where we are posting it. So, namaste to.
Namaskar,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yes. So, thank you so much for this wonderful office.
Oh, yeah.
Introduce yourselves, everybody.
I am Modi, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Good to see you again.
Harinder.
Harinder, nice to meet you.
I'm Sheila.
Sheila, are you from the Bay Area?
No, I'm from Eugene.
Wow, wonderful.
All three of them are from Eugene.
Fantastic.
You both are from the
Yeah,
Bay Area.
foreigners.
Yeah. You know, there are, I don't need to tell you this, but there are snacks in the other room, which we just finished enjoying. Did you want to get something for
I'm all
yourself?
ready.
You're okay? Shall we start the next class? You can share the text with her, right? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So look at the magic of Guru Kripa. Without grammar rules, it has made Mamata into Samata. How lovely. You know, the Guru's grace has made Mamata into Samata without any grammar rules. Yeah, no headache. You know, you don't have to remember all these rules, you know. Iko, Yanachi, all these things you don't have to remember. But here, Mamata has become Samata. Because the Mamata is the root cause of samsara, Samata is the cause for moksha. So the attitude of Samatvam I cultivate. You know? How? With regard to who? Putra, Kalatram and Pashu. Pashu means small furry things. And then, or even elephants, horses. You know, in the ancient times they had all these, they owned all these forms of wealth. And then Kalatram, neuter gender for wife, that means you have to be neutral towards the spouse. And then what else? Putra also includes putri, children. Okay, so then he brings in the stava, the praise of the Guru, to show the how without this knowledge this mamata cannot be given up. And then now he goes into complete teaching mode. The satire is more or less gone because the first, very interesting, because the first half, the first 2/3 was a lot of satirical displacement, we saw that, and other such figures of speech apt for a section called deception of action. So, very nice. And so here now he's going into an urgent teaching mode. His hope is that after the satire, one is tired. That's why it's called satire, because it tires you out. Like, okay, how much more of this do I have to have? How much more of this do I have to, just keep embroidering? So now he teaches, and he's going to switch on his teaching mode. And the teaching mode is a very urgently teaching mode because there is no time, and he's going to say that himself. This verse is not for the faint of heart in terms of pronunciation, so we're going to take it slowly. Tyakshantyavashyancha Tvan tvancha tyakshasi yanapi Tvan tvam cha tyakshasi yanapi. In fact, we should have stopped at tvam. त्यक्षन्त्यवश्यञ्च त्वाम्
Tyakshyam cha.
त्यक्षन्त्यवश्यञ्च त्वाम्
Tyakshyam cha tvam.
त्वञ्च त्यक्षसि यानपि.
Tvam cha tyakshyasi yanapi.
See, it's not so bad. येषां त्यागे महत्सौख्यम्
Yesham tyage mahat saukyam.
तेषां त्यागेऽपि कः श्रमः.
Tesham tyage vikashramaha.
Yeah. So let's try that again, just for fun. Tyakshantyavashyajja tvam.
Tyakshyam cha tvam.
Tvam cha tyakshasi yanapi.
Tvam cha tyakshyasi yanapi.
Yesham tyage mahatsaukyam.
Yesham tyage mahat saukyam.
Tesham tyagepi kashramaha.
Tesham tyage vikashramaha.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting verse, and I can see so many things in it, but one thing at a time we have to see. One is, let's look at the verse itself. Tyakshyanti. What is Tyakshyanti? You know, from Tyaj, but future tense. Lrit. Yeah. You know, the future tense takes siya. Siya becomes shya, and when it is in a complicated situation, when the ja comes, everything, it becomes kshya. Syatasi from the sutra, syatasi litoho. Sya. Okay. Tyakshyanti, they will give up. You know. See, there are lots of people giving up lots of things. So let's see who is the they referred to here. You know, Tyakshyanti. Tyakshyanti, let's look at the words. Tyakshanti, they give up. What do they give up? How do they give up? Avashyam. Avashyam means definitely they give up. Without a doubt, they give up. Okay. What do they give up? The object is you. Tvam. Yeah, that tvam, tvam, don't get confused. Tvam, tvam is tvam and tvam. Subject, object. It's again a displacement. You know, tvam and tvam together, that first it is anuswara, tvam, and maha anuswaraha, and then anuswarasya yayi parasavarnaha. So in parasavarna letters, that ma becomes na. So don't let that fool you. So tyakshanti tvam, they give you up. What? All these objects of desire, including people. They give you up. You don't have to give up anything. They themselves give you up. You know, tyakshanti cha tvam. And you also give them the tvam cha api tyakshanti, tyakshasi. You are also giving them up. How does this giving up happen? You know, it's just like those, the previous verse where we saw, what did we see? People are going their own ways. You know, the life is a yatra where samagama and gata happens. Coming and goings takes place. So that's why the marriage vow says what? Till death do us part. And death will definitely part, correct? You know, that's the whole idea, is that we are in this together for the rest of our lives, meaning that the acknowledgement has already taken place that after that we cannot be together. Because you don't know where I go, I don't know where you go. In fact, I myself don't know where I go. So this is how it is. Same thing with the children. You know, they grow up, they leave home. And you know, and it's lucky if you hear from them once in a while, because they have their own life. They are not sort of waiting and trying to, you know, do something here. Even Indian children, you know, they have their own lives. And this is how the whole thing is. So he's back to the philosophizing, but with a twist. The previous philosophy that was iterated was the armchair philosophy of everybody who has had even a smattering of the Hindu tradition. Oh, life is just but a journey from the womb to tomb. Don't get attached to things. This is everybody says. Every grandpa and every grandma in every house says that. Until the some difficulty hits home, in form of putra, pashu, kalatra, etc. Their own spouse, their own whatever. Then the rules of engagement are very different. Here, it's not the armchair philosophy. It is not the armchair philosophy here. What is it here? It is a teaching here. And that's why I said it's a teaching with a sense of urgency. How do you distinguish between the two? Simply by the word tvam used as the subject and the object. It's very beautifully done. He uses grammar with such a finesse. It is adorable, really. It is to be adored. Because whenever the word tvam is used, it's a direct teaching. There it was said as a yata yatam gata gatam. It was coming, going. It's an armchair philosophy. Here it is sans the satire. It's a direct teaching because tvam is employed. The word tvam is deployed as object and subject. First as the subject, and then or first as the object. Which comes first?
Object.
Yeah, first as the object and then as the subject. Very, very, beautiful. Because the subject-object difference is what is the, is the cornerstone of duality. And the subject-object difference I'm not able to bridge. And if I don't learn to bridge it cognitively, I am forever afraid or subject to sorrow. Correct? And so, see, the subject-object divide is what is addressed here. So first to tvam, you are not always the subject. You are the object. You are subject to objectification. How? I thought I was not subject to objectification. How? By all the people that are getting ready to abandon you. When I say, you are abandoned, that the word you is a subject or an object? Object. Grammatically, it's an object. So, you are the object of others' abandonment. This is the constant story of people's life. Nobody loves me. This is the, nobody loves me, nobody understands me, nobody wants me, nobody does anything to me. This is the story of people's lives. And here he teaches through that and he says, already you are abandoned. You're feeling abandoned and there's a certain truth to it because the truth is because you are looking for security in all places insecure. You're looking for that limitlessness in all places limited. You're looking for that, satisfaction in all places which are just the, hotbed of breeding discontent. That is where you're looking at. And then you say, oh, I'm not finding it. Because where you're looking in every place, it is not. And the only place it is, which is you are not looking at. And that's how you have sold yourself by making the subject into an object of abandonment. Very beautiful. Very, very, deep it is here. And that's why it's a teaching. He says you have, look at the caricature you have made of this tvam. The tvam as in tattvam asi. Because that's what, whenever you hear tvam, you should immediately think of tattvam asi. Because that is how the teaching is given on a one-on-one. It's always one-on-one. So that tvam, which is tattvam asi, there the tvam is subject or object? In the sentence, tattvam asi, tvam is subject or object?
It's a question.
Yeah. No, but grammatically it's the subject. How do we know? Because otherwise the word tvam would not be used. Tvam would be used. Tvam, yuvam, yuyam. Tvam, object case. Tvam, yuvam, yushman. So that's how we know it's the subject, because the subject case, the first case is used. So tvam means you are the subject, you are not the object. That is the teaching. You are never the object. You are not subject to objectification. And the more you try to grasp yourself as an object, you don't get yourself. That's why you feel everything is so elusive. Vedanta is elusive. But here, what have you done? You have decapitated the you at the altar of things and people. You have objectified the not objectifiable, ironically speaking, by selling yourself short, by associating for your own sanity and security with all things finite. When you try to make the finite infinite, you have done the impossible. You have objectified the subject, so to speak. You know, this is again a very beautiful way of saying that. So you become Tvam when they abandon you. They have abandoned you, so the Tvam has become Tvam. Subject has become object. Why? Because, why does the subject become object? Because I have allowed other things, people, entities to operate upon me, to possess me. See, me also against object. And then, so when you say object, you are also the victim. Correct? You are the victim of what? Of other people's abandonment. Other people not understanding you, other people misunderstanding you, other people mistreating you, other people leaving you and going away. You are the victim. So in other words, how do we say victim in Sanskrit? Bhokta. Usually, bhokta is translated as enjoyer. Here there is nothing to enjoy. You enjoy your misery. That's all it is. So bhokta, correct? So tvam bhokta, tvam karta. But here, because the knowledge is there, it's an enlightened karta. And the karta of what? Tyaga. The karta of letting go. That's the only kartatvam which is allowed. That that's the last frontier of doership. You just let go of everything. And so here, it's also, this verse is very important because it also resonates on a psychological level. And the psychological level, it's not a very well developed psychology, unfortunately, but that's where people are at. And what does the psychological level, how does letting go work? I'm going to leave you before you leave me. And he is making use of this psychology very astutely. So he says, what's the difficulty in giving up things that are going to leave you anyway? Oh, they're going to leave me? No, I'm going to leave them first, because then it's much easier to be an agent than to be an object. I want to be Tvam, I don't want to be Tvam, I want to be Aham, I don't want to be Mam. So I want to be the giver-upper. I don't want to be the object of other people's giving up of me. See, even psychologically this works. Fantastic. That's what it is, The occupational hazards of the Vedanta teacher are such that, usually at least two people come to the teaching. Two students? No. Two in one, One is the adult who wants the teaching, and one is the inner child who wants mothering or fathering or parenting, who wants to be parented. And so the pedagogical training that one undergoes is to, rock the baby, rock the inner child, and teach the adult. Or to put the pacifier in the mouth of the inner child, to pacify the inner child and teach the adult. To do upashamana of the inner child and then teach the adult. One has to do both. And so here we see him doing that. So we see him appealing to the inner child. How? Saying, you mean you're going to wait to be left behind? When you can yourself give things up? No, I don't want to be left behind. So you're going to sit and eat bananas where people are going to abandon you left, right and center? And what does the inner child says? No, I'm going to give people up. I'm going to give things up because this is just a root of, these are the roots of misery. I'm not going to wait to be abandoned. I'm not going to lie around waiting for things to leave me. And not Not that people are going to leave, but death and disease, these are the things, or parting of ways for whatever reason, incompatibility, etc. So I'm not going to wait for that. Why should I wait to be miserable? I'm already miserable. So why should I wait to be abandoned and then get miserable? I'm already miserable because I can't stand the fear of somebody leaving me. So what am I going to do? Leave them instead. How am I going to leave them? Cognitively, by having that inner space and that attitude which was described earlier, from mama to sama, that sameness. From mamata to samata, by cultivating this attitude, it's a kind of a cognitive leaving, because I cultivate the inner space. And this is the teaching for the adult. The inner child is told what? You're going to sit around and let everybody leave you? Like that William Butler Yeats poem, I heard the old men say. Oh, what did they say? One by one we all drop away by the waters, Do we drop away by the waters, or did he hear the old men say by the waters? That is, up to contention. But yeah, this is how it is. So here the old men are talking. I think next must be your turn. You look a little green in the gills. Each one is telling the other. So you're not going to wait like that. You can't wait. You have to have the attitude. Why would you wait when you can help yourself with the attitude? And you can help yourself to the teaching. You can help yourself to the teacher. Why would you sit and wait to be abandoned? Wait to be miserable, and until you are miserable, you are anxious that you are going to be miserable. So this is anxious is bhaya and anxiety, and then misery is shoka. Whereas that Vedanta takes care of shoka nivritti and bhaya nivritti in one fell stroke, by converting tvam into tvam. This is how the whole thing is. So the first line is particularly cryptic. Even if, as you saw, we had to chant it a few times to get the hang of it, because it's like having marbles in the mouth. Tyakshanti, I see, usually I remember if I read it once, but here I've forgotten because it's so difficult. Tyakshantyavashyan chatvam, tvam cha tyakshati yanapi. It is particularly difficult also as an alankara, a figure of speech for what follows. And the second line, you'll appreciate the first line in the light of the second line, which is very easy. Yesham tyage mahat saukhyam. Mahat saukhyam means great happiness instantly comes from abandoning. From abandoning, if great happiness comes, tesham tyage pi kim shramaha. So what is the difficulty? What is the effort? What is the difficulty in giving up things that give you happiness? You see, that difficulty, to iterate the fact, to inscribe the fact, to emphasize the fact that there is no difficulty in giving up things that cause you happiness, the first line is made very difficult to pronounce. This is a grammatical, alankara, a figure of speech. The first line is made so difficult to pronounce. Why? To show the ease. It is harder to talk about leaving and, than actually leaving things. Leaving here means what? Cognitively gaining the inner space to not be affected by one's possessions and by so-called one's people. That is what the whole thing is. To train the mind with the help of the teachings to be in a place of sama. Without the teachings, it's not possible. And that is what the whole thing is. Very, very deep mantra, very deep verse. So, tyakshanti avashyam. Definitely they will leave you. Tvam. Tyakshanti tvam avashyam. And that's why the tvam are together, to show the object has immediately can be converted into a subject. Tvam cha tyakshasi. You also will abandon, you also will give up, because they may die first, you may die first, you don't know. Your taste may change, their taste may change. Things are parted. And then, yesham tyage mahat saukhyam. Mahat Saukyam means great feeling of delight, and Saukya is not even delight, comfort. Saukya, Sukhasya Bhava, Shanj Pratyaya. Saukya means great comfort is derived from giving up which. Like for example, garbage. Yeah. When you have garbage sitting in the house, what happens? Yeah, even before it smells, it disturbs you. It's like, oh my God, I want to take out the garbage. Why aren't we taking out the garbage? Please, take out the garbage. And the garbage is a collection of what? All the things I do not want. All the things that I have used up. Yeah, that's also there. I wanted them before. What was in the packet I wanted, the packet is now empty. I have used it up. It can no longer give me anything. I have squeezed the juice out of it, and all the nissara, all the potato peels and the tomato skins and all these things are in the garbage. And unless one is writing a book, there exists one such book, how to make holiday meals from garbage. Somebody I knew, one daughter-in-law gave it to her mother-in-law. Mother-in-law was ecstatic because the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law got along, like a house on fire. They really loved each other. And they said, oh, zucchini peel soup. I think that's what we should make tomorrow. They both were discussing in the living room. I was just watching every one of them. And I looked at the son and the father's face, and zucchini peel soup did not look appealing to them. With banana peel sundae for dessert. And then later on, I heard them looking for the book. The book was lost. The husband and the father, milke, together, they hid the book. Yeah. So that they would not have zucchini peel soup for the holidays. This is how they had that. They had to do some extreme measures. So, unless you're writing a book like that or are a proponent of that kind of a book, nobody finds garbage appealing. It is just full of peels. That's all. You don't find it appealing. You want to get rid of it. You want to throw it away, correct? And once you take the garbage out, once it's out of the house, what happens? Wow, my house is clean. Everything I don't want, I have put out. There is that happiness, correct? So that happiness, he says, is like giving up all the things that are actually causing rotting inside and causing all kinds of problems. Health hazards, mental health hazards, emotional health hazards, and other kinds of meltdowns are being caused not by the people in your life, but by the residual emotions, the hangover emotions connected to them. The hangover emotions connected to them, to the people, start festering a certain kind of, what is that? Residual grudges, resentments, fears, expectations that can never be met, frozen needs, fears, tears, all of them are brewing inside. This is what is called antahkarana ashuddhi. In other words, the inner garbage. Yeah. That's what it is. The inner garbage is nothing but all these festering, rotten, things that should have been thrown away long time ago. Sparshan bhakyan bahihi kritva. That's why in every meditation session, what do? We do what Arjuna is advised in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Keep the external things outside. Keep it outside. Don't bring it in. Do not bring it in. Why shouldn't you bring it in? Because when you bring it in, what happens? There are health hazards. Yeah. Do you bring garbage that, that big thing with the whole neighborhood's garbage is there? Do you bring that in? No. Because there are health hazards. Certain things are hazardous to health. So just like the outer garbage is hazardous to health, the inner garbage is hazard to one's sanity, mental health, and emotional health. This is why it has to be kept outside. How to keep it outside? Tyajatu, keep that external things are external. Give the person the freedom to be who they are. This is how to get that inner space. This is what we emphasize in every meditation. Give the person to be the freedom to be who they are without looking at them through the lens of your expectation. But who they are is the ones that they are not meeting my expectations. That's who they are. Let them be. Let them be. Appreciate them for who they are. And to illustrate that further, what do? Visualize a river. Are you angry with a river? Never. You're not angry with the river. And you're not saying, why are you flowing here? Why aren't you flowing there? Why are you going like this? Why you're so small? You're just a trickle. You shouldn't have succumbed to the drought. You should have been majestic and big. We are happy, whatever it is. Look at the mountains. In relation to the mountains, how are you? Are you able to be an appreciative being? Yes, very easily. Because the mountains are not out to get me. Correct? And I don't have any expectations for the mountains to be other than how they are. Look at a flower. Look at a river. Look at a meadow. Visualize. We do this in the meditation. And as a result, what happens? You gain a certain, perspective. And then what do we say? Visualize now the father and the mother. Oh! There is a big difference between the mountain and the mother and the river and the father. With regard to the river, I am happy to let it merrily flow. With regard to the father, oh no. With regard to the mountain, oh how majestic. With regard to the mother, oh how pathetic. This is immediately the judgment comes. Therefore, the mountain is just outside. The mother is also outside, correct? But the mother is both outside and internalized in the form of expectations. And the expectations cause sorrow. Because the expectations have nothing to do with the person. They have to do with you. Your own needs. Yeah, but they were born to meet them. Who says? They certainly don't think that. And the sooner you don't think that, it is better for your own sanity. You see how the inner child is being made to grow up in the second line? Yesham tyage mahat saukhyam. So in letting go of these expectations, in learning to see them how they are, how Bhagavan sees them. Because in relation to the mountains, I can be an appreciative being. I can be a interfering being. I can be an objective being. I can be a non-demanding being. Can I do the same with Putra, Kalatra and Pashu? Can I do that? When the answer is yes, you are well on your way to Vedanta. When the answer is no, few more Bodhisara classes are needed. Why few more? Many more, because it's a big text. I don't know how I even started it to read. So somehow I made up the mind to just start it. So this is what it is. We finished 1/10 of it, but it's a very worthy 1/10. So how beautifully he teaches. He first disarms the inner child by saying, what? You're going to let them give you up, Vita, when you can give up first? No, I want to give up first. And then the adult is taught that when you give up all these emotions connected to the people that are making you into a yo-yo, and when you give them up, there is great happiness, because that's the inner, that's the inner dustbin. The mind is an inner dustbin that has, taken the dust of lifetime after lifetime of anger, resentment, unfulfilled expectations, kama, krodha, lobha, greed, avarice, mada, pride, matsarya, jealousy. These are all offsprings of that kama and krodha only. And so all this you're having in your heart, and kama and krodha are not just free-floating feelings. Anger is not a free-floating feeling. It's directed against something. Sometimes the wrong thing. You see these teenagers walking on the road, they kick something hard. They're not angry at the tree they have kicked. They're angry at the mother or the father. They take it out on, they victimize something else. Sometimes they kick a small animal, but that's because they are angry, not at the animal, at something else. So anger is not a free-floating feeling. Jealousy, all these are relative feelings connected to the relatives. That's why it's called relative. So you have to transform this within you, and that inner garbage you please take out and see how happy you feel. And you will feel so happy when you take out the inner garbage that you will just, you will be just delighted. And delighted because you are lighted of this. And so, yesham tyage mahat saukhyam. Even though letting go of the mother and father seems sad, but you're not letting go of them. What are you letting go of? You're letting go of your impossible expectations where they are concerned. That is what you're letting go of. And in that there is great happiness, because guess what? You just took the garbage out. Antakarana ashuddhi is converted into antakarana shuddhi. So yesham tyage mahat saukhyam, tesham tyage api kashramaha. What is the effort here? And the effort is what? The effort is effortless. And to illustrate that, the first line has been made into a tongue twister on purpose. There is more effort in talking about how you abandon things and people abandon you than in actually abandoning the expectations surrounding these things. This man, the way he uses Sanskrit is just unparalleled. It's almost like Kalidasa, but Kalidasa did not write Vedanta. Here we have a twofold joy. We have this wonderfully elastic language. Sanskritam is elastic. And this elastic language used to expound the limitless, the two together is such a joy. It's a wonderful. The language is used in a beautiful way. There are so many puns, And then if I don't do this, what will happen? The typical Vedanta way of expounding things. Because now the inner child is up again. And what does the inner child say? The inner child says, if I don't do this again, what will happen? If I don't do this, you say there is much sanity in giving up these things, giving up expectations, and leading a life of the teachings. If I don't do this, then what? The inner child is, the Purva Pakshi is also a form of the inner child, is up again. And here, this is what is talked about. This is addressed, what if? What if I don't do this? What will happen? Vyavahara vimudhanam.
Vyavahara vimudhanam.
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 Vyavahara vimudhanam.
Vyavahara vimudhanam.
Stuti nindamayah kramaha.
Stuti nindamaya kramaha.
Sopi tatkaya paryantam.
Sopi tatkaya paryantam.
Oh, paryantah, sorry. Sopi tatkaya paryantah.
Sopi tatkaya paryantaha.
Kayah katidinanvayi.
Kaya katidinanvayi.
Yeah. So what if I don't adjust my expectations? What if I don't become a pragmatic person? If you don't, he has a word to describe such people. Vyavahara vimudha. Vyavahara vimudha means the one who is deluded with regards to. Vyavahare vimudha. With regard to vyavahara. Vyavahara means what?
Transactional reality.
Transactional reality, the everyday common sense. So one can be deluded in many ways, but the saddest form of delusion is to take leave of one's senses, in every situation. No common sense. We are not talking of paramarthika here. We are talking of the emotion, the how to manage the emotional baggage. We are not talking of the, what is that? The ultimate. We are not talking of the Brahman. We are not talking of limitless. If after reading these verses, if you don't know even that this is a pragmatic reality, even for the basic sanity, to spell sanity, you need a little bit of objectivity. That much if you haven't understood, then that such a person, by him is called a four-letter word, Vyavahara Vimudha, deluded with regard to Vyavahara. And his satirical displacement is very much here again. Vyavahara Vimudha means what is he with regard, what is such a person with regard to Paramarthika? If you don't know Vyavahara, do you know Paramarthika? Of course not. You have to be firmly grounded in Vyavahara in order to understand Paramarthika. Paramarthika means the limitless, Ishvara. So if you don't understand that which is how to live in the Jagat, how are you going to understand the Karta of the Jagat, and that too the Karta of the Jagat as non-dual from yourself? Impossible. So you don't know Vyavahara, you don't know Paramarthata. What do you know? Nothing. Zero. It's like that, the village, there is a village saying in Tamil Nadu, our son-in-law. Our son-in-law is wonderful, because you see, the story must have been like this, that the girl, who was from a very rich and very noble family, went and married the village simpleton. Yeah. And all the hopes of the parents were dashed to the ground. Because he was, he had not even seen the school except from outside. And he was just, nothing he had done. And then, he just met her, and then she met him, and they fell, I'm not going to say how or in what. They just fell and they got married. Correct? It was a very bad fall. And so the parents were always trying to compensate for this son-in-law, because, what to tell the relatives? This is India. This is not America. You can do whatever you want. Relatives ko kya bolenge? What are you going to tell them? So they kept on covering up for the son-in-law in this manner. They would say, our son-in-law is very accomplished. Everything is right with him. Don't think just because he's a village idiot. Sorry, simpleton. That he's a bad boy. He's a very good boy. He's a wonderful young man. But they were truthful. The couple was very truthful. So they would say, he's a very young man, but, and of course all the aunties and the people who wanted to spread the news to the village, but what? But only two things are problematic with him. What are the two things problematic with him? He doesn't take any initiative, he has no ambition, and he doesn't know what to do on his own. Oh, that's kind of a big problem, isn't it? No, it's a small problem. What's the other problem? The other problem is, even if you tell him, he doesn't listen. He's a mandu. Mandu means stubborn. So what else is left? What else is left with the person who doesn't know anything, doesn't know what to do, and then who, even after he is told, doesn't do it because of some obstinacy? Like this Vyavahara Vimudha, if you don't know how to conduct yourself in the world firmly grounded, this is Vedanta. If you don't know how to conduct yourself in the Jagat, then can you say that you are, you have Paramarthika Jnanam? No, this is what is called Ubhaya Bhrashta, neither here nor there. In other words, one who is even Vyavahara Vimudha is totally in Pratibhasikam. What is Pratibhasikam? Subjective reality. It is because I see it. Not I see it because it is. That is objective reality. And that is the crux of all the prerequisites for the study of Vedanta, that have to be firmly grounded in this reality. I look upon this reality as Ishvara. What is Ishvara. That's why I say the first two letters of Ishvara is what? Is. In English. What is Ishvara? If I see that, then I understand. The next step is to understand that Ishvara as myself. It is a two-step process. So here the person is not grounded. The person is carrying the garbage of subjectivity with them, closely hugging the garbage bag of subjectivity and filtering everything they see through the garbage bag of subjectivity. So even if someone offers them a wonderful apple, they are only seeing the peels because that's what is there. That's the only thing they find appealing. So therefore, this is what is the situation. Vyavahara vimudhana. So for such people, deluded as they are in terms of the everyday reality, what is their lot? Stuti ninda mayaha kramaha. Kramaha means their lot. Their order of life is what? A yo-yo life. Stuti, ninda. Stuti, ninda. Stuti, praise, ninda, criticism. Maybe not in that order. Ninda, 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 stuti. Ninda, 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 stu. Not even titi. Not even ti. Stu. Ninda, 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 stu. That's how life is. That is how life is. It's not alternative. I mean, people say, oh, cycles of happiness and sorrow. It's not alternating cycles. If it were, we would all be better off. It is sad. Yeah, that's why, even people have to be very careful when you give names to Swamis, and especially they come to the West. And so I got an email, and then I didn't understand the email. So then I called the person, the phone number was given, and this American lady answered, and she said, my guru's one more Shishya is coming, Sadananda. I said, who? S-A-D, Sad Ananda. Sad Ananda. I said, no, it is Sadananda. No, it's Sad Ananda. She argued. So, Vyavahara Vimudhanam, Sadananda Gatihi. Yeah. Even though being Ananda, one is sad. This is what the situation. Then she said, oh, I have been calling him Sad Ananda on the phone when I talked to him in India. I said, when he comes, you can apologize. But he did come, and then she did apologize. But fortunately, he had not understood her accent. So he didn't. So, it's not alternative cycles of happiness and sorrow. It's mostly unhappiness with a little burst of happiness here and there. By the time I understand it, it's gone. It's all so illusory. It's gone. So, Vyavahara Vimudhanam. So, if you are deluded with regard to this Vyavahara, with regard to this common sense understanding that you cannot get so involved in things that are, finite. If you haven't understood this, then your lot is going to be just what we described. Up and down, all around, stuti ninda mayaha kramaha, because you're living in your own reality, in the pratibhasika, which is the subjective reality of the inner child. Because the inner child sees the world through its own lenses. Lenses of hurt, lenses of despair, lenses of anxiety, all of them unprocessed. That is what is called Vyavahara Vimudha. Unprocessed hurt, unprocessed residues hanging around like the inner garbage whose antahkarana is not Shuddha. And then, for them, this is their lot. And then what? So, api, there should be avagraha there. It is not there. You can correct that. Saha api tat kaya paryantam. So, tat kaya paryantam. Kayaha katidina anvayi. So, then till the end of their days, kaya paryantam means till the end, till the body is there, they will be the target of everybody's ninda. Even Arjuna is told that. Avachya vadamshcha bahun nindayanti tavahitaha. Vadayanti tavahitaha nindantastava samarthyam tato dukkhatarannu kim. Lord Krishna says, Avachya vadamshcha bahun. They will say, if you abandon this war right now and go with your deluded idea that I want to become a sadhu in Rishikesh and sit under a tree, and you grow a beard, don't think they're not going to recognize you. As they are giving you bhiksha, they take it back. They say, chi, thu, you are that Arjuna, who abandoned the war and left us in the hands of Duryodhana, the king, the tormentor. You are an idiot. So Lord Krishna says, all the things they are going to tell you cannot be part of my vocabulary because I am the Lord. Avachya. I cannot repeat them. Those 4-letter words, I cannot repeat. I feel shy to repeat them. Ahitaha. So people who don't like you, who are inimical to you, they'll tell you all this. Nindantaha tava samarthyam. And even everything else you may have done in this life, but by this one act you are going to wash it all out. And he says, Tato dukkhatarannukim, there is nothing sorrier state than this state of affairs. So here also, kaya paryantaha, until the body is there, what you get is ninda. Little bit of stuti, but mostly ninda. And then, to make, as though that was not enough, to make matters worse, how long will the body be with you? Kati dina anvayi. Anvayi means how long will the body be your casing, will Anvaya is connection. So how long will the body be connected to you? The body also is going to leave you. Not only all these people have left, the body is also in the final act of ironical abandonment. The body is also going to leave you. Until then, you keep being abandoned. And this is the alternative scenario if you don't take to a life of Vedanta, if you don't understand this. Next one is very nice. Ekatas sakala lokaha.
Ekatas sakala lokaha.
Yeah, the visarga should be enunciated because we are breaking there. Ekatas sakala lokaha.
Ekatas sakala lokaha.
Vikarshanti yatha balam.
Vikarshanti yatha balam.
Padarthamalam balavan.
Padarthamalam balavam.
Padarthamalam balavan.
Padarthamalam balavan.
Ekah kalo gilatyasau.
Ekah kalo gilatyasau.
Ekatas sakala lokaha.
Ekatas sakala lokaha.
Vikarshanti yatha balam.
Vikarshanti yatha balam.
Padarthamalam balavan.
Padarthamalam
balavan. Ekah kalo gilatyasau.
Ekah kalo gilatyasau.
Lokaha, the people. All the people. Samasta lokaha. Samastaha lokaha, all the people. And the pun here is on one. The word ekaha. Very interesting. And what is a lot is implied. This is the beauty of the usage of Sanskrit by Narahari here, because a lot is implied without being articulated. If you don't know that one ekaha, which is you, sa ekaha, saya evam vit, that ekaha, yo savaditye, that which is the truth of the sun, that which is the truth of the vayu, that which is you, that which is truth of all the elements and the elementals, that which is the truth of Bhagavan. If you don't know yourself as that Brahman, which is the whole, then what? You get into a lot of fragmented ekahas. We will see here. So what is that? Ekataha, ekatas sakala loka. Ekataha means on one side, On the one hand, ekatah sakala lokaha vikarshanti padarthamalam vikarshanti. Vikarshanti means attract. Attract, they are drawn. Yatha balam. Yatha balam means as though by force. As much as they can, they are drawn. What are they drawn to? Sakala lokaha. Who are drawn to? Sakala lokaha. Even as without knowing the one, on the one hand, people are drawn. People are drawn, yatha balam, as it were. Yatha balam is balam anatikramya, yatha balam. So, with full force, with full gusto, all the people are drawn to what? A garland. Oh, garland of Ishvara? No, a garland of objects with which they adorn themselves. Padartha mala. Yeah. Padartha mala. Padartha means things. So, the TV, the smartphone, and the tablet, and all the other devices and desires are around the neck in the form of a mala. Electronic mala. I mean, look at even in this room, all these wires, they are they are the mala. This is the bane of the current times. Everything, all these gadgets, they are the malas. So or whatever you buy in the holiday season, you go shopping and you buy this, buy that, and suddenly it's a sale and you didn't want it anyway, but you heard it's a sale. You say, oh, I'll just go look at it. Nobody goes just to look. Once you look, there is a hook. That's what it is. Then you end up buying, and then that's also. So instead of, usually mala means either Rudraksha mala, or mala means what? The beautiful scented flowers, fragrant flowers of the spring collected from the gardens. You make a beautiful mala. Here, it's the flowers, flowers, quote unquote, collected from the garden of sense objects, plucked from the garden of sense objects. Sometimes those flowers are belonging to others, but we don't care. I want it in my mala, so I'm going to take it. And so all these, think of having a 72-inch TV around the neck. It's the part of the mala one is, completely yoked to it. Padartha mala, one word, one meaning. Another meaning, padam is what? Padam means goal. That is what is it. Padartha means things. Padam also means word. Padyate iti padam, goal. Padyate anena iti padam, word. Padam is word. Okay? Padam, padasya artham, padartham. Simple sandhi. Simple samasa. 60p. Shashti tat purusha. Padasya artha means what? Meaning of the words. So what are you having on your, on your neck? Word and meaning. Nothing there. It's like emperor's clothes. What you're wearing. It's word and meaning, name and form, 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 name and form. At least goddess Kali is better because she has a mala of skulls. All the ahankaras, that skull represents ahankara. Yeah, she has taken out the ahankara. That's what it is. Here, what you are wearing is a garland of nothing. The garland of the finite words and their finite meanings, which is just anatma. So anatma garland you're adorning yourself, you're adorning others. For their birthday, you give a useless garland. For your birthday, they give you a useless garland. Happy birthday, dear Jiva. And then, what else? And then there is one more ekaha. One ekaha you don't know. And one ekaha is on the one hand, this is what you're doing. And then the final ekaha is kalaha. Kala is the one which prevails, because what does it do? It devours the garlands, it devours the wearer of the garland, the body, it devours the body, it devours the mind, it devours the senses. Kalo jagat bhakshakaha. Kala eats the jagat. It just is finished, gone. Hoovers it up, finished. Nothing more is left without a residue. Not even a burp. Nothing. No residue. It just, siphons up the whole universe. What? Kala. And then Kalo. And then the first line was what? Loka. You see the pun here? Loka. And then Kalo. Very beautiful. You have to appreciate this language, even if you don't know it. And that's why see, every word is placed so aptly, Ekata sakala loka, loka vikarshanti yatha balam, padartha malam balavan. This supposedly strong fellow is wearing this, feels secure. Strong here means secure. Balavan iti manyante lokaha. So they think they are secure by wearing this garland of name and form. But really what? Ekah kalaha gilati. Gilati means, what is that? It takes, just what the python does. Gilati. Eats alive. Swallows up completely without residue. And does not throw it back. Finished, gone. What is this Kala? It is Bhagavan. Kala is Bhagavan. Trikala Agni Kalaya, Kala Agni Rudraya. That is what it is. That Kala, time is Bhagavan. Space is Bhagavan. So time has the last laugh, or Bhagavan has the last laugh. Bhagavan allows you to play house, in your little whatever. It's just like a big Lego set, all these things. And the wisdom in playing with the Lego set is to knowing when to let go. That's why it's called Lego. But if you don't know how to let go, then it's all devoured along with you, the one who is thinking I'm enjoying it all. Gone. It's all gone. Kalo jagat bhakshakaha. And so this is, you see the urgency with which he's trying to communicate this whole thing. And the next verse is pure fun. For this, for that sake, we have to read it. Lola Lakshmir Vayam Lolaha.
Lola Lakshmir Vayam Lolaha.
Lola Vishaya Vrittayaha.
Lola Vishaya Vrittayaha.
Kim Sukham Tatra Yatranga.
Kim Sukham Tatra Yatranga.
Jivanasyaiva Samshayaha.
Jivanasyaiva Samshayaha.
There is some mistake. I'll look into that, because that yatranga cannot just be self-standing like that. It has to have either a visarga or something, or an anuswara. I'll look into that later. But let us just at least understand this. Lola means to delight in. Lola also means kshanika. Yeah, momentary. That's the pun here. Lola Lakshmihi. Lakshmihi, goddess Lakshmi, is a delight, correct? It's an object of delight, because who doesn't like money? Everyone loves money. And who doesn't like Lakshmi in all her various forms? Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Sampat Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, so many forms of Lakshmi. Marital happiness Lakshmi, this Lakshmi, that Lakshmi, all kinds of Lakshmi. Children Lakshmi, any kind of abundance. Who doesn't like? She is a delight. But then she is also Chanchala. Lakshmi doesn't like to stay in one place. Lakshmi flits. She's very fleeting. By the time you say, stay there, sit down, I'm going to make you chai, I'm coming back. By the time you come with the chai, she has already gone to the neighbor's house. That's why they win the lottery, not you. Okay? That's how it is. So, Lakshmi, delightful, but Lola, Kshanika, Chanchala, extremely restless, extremely finite. Vayam, what about us? Lola, we are also delightful, we are also finite. And then Lola, Sarva Vishaya Vrittayah. So, all the objects, Vishayas, sense objects are what? Transient. Lola, delightful but transient. Vishayaha and Vrittayaha, the thoughts of the sense objects, the thoughts are also transient. Lola. So it's Lola, Lola all the way. So if that be the case, Kim Sukham Tatra, Yatra Jivanasyaiva Samshayaha, where is the happiness when life itself is at stake? Life itself is under doubt. Life itself is subject to doubt. What kind of happiness can there be where the life itself is so ephemeral? He's, summing it up. Is that the next one? Is the last one?
Mhm.
Shall we finish this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lola Lakshmihi Vayam Lolaha Lola Vishaya Vrittayah. Vishaya Vrittayah Lolaha. I'll look at that Anga, why that is kind of standing alone like that. Kim Sukham Tatra Yatra, forget the Anga now. Yatra Jivanasyaiva Samshayaha. So indeed, what happiness is there when everything, including life itself, is fleeting and in doubt whether it existed or not. So then he's getting ready to sum up. Shokamohau bhayau dainyam.
Shokamohau bhayam dainyam.
Shokamohau bhayan dainyam.
Shokamohau bhayam dainyam.
Adhirvyadhi kshudadrisha.
Adhirvyati kshudadrisha.
Yeah, if the Visarga precedes the Ksha, it has to be articulated completely. So, Adhirvyadhi kshudadrisha.
Adhirvyati
Kshudadrisha.
kshudadrisha.
Ityadi vividham dukkham.
Ityadi vividham dukkham.
Iti sankshepa kirtanam.
Iti sankshepa kirtanam.
The summing up is as satirical and inglorious as the rest of the verses. It's like the final cherry on top of the apupa. What is apupa? Sanskrit word for cake. So this is the final cherry on top of the cake. Let us see. So we'll take a few minutes because I want to finish this section. Shoka mohau. Shokam cha, moham cha. Or shokaha cha, mohaha cha. Shoka mohau. Two together. And dvandva. This is samasa together. Shoka and moha. Grief and delusion. Sorrow and delusion. And then on top of that what? Fear. Bhayam. And because these three things are there, dainyam, helplessness. And then adhir vyadhihi. The adhir vyadhi means all kinds of sickness, suffering. Mental, physical, emotional sickness and suffering. Kshudha means hunger. Adhihi vyadhi means mental anxiety and physical sickness. And then kshudha means hunger, trishna, thirst. So he says that what is the purport of this section? What is the summary? If he wants to summarize this whole section of 15 verses, how many verses? 14 verses, in one verse, What is he been talking about? Narahari, Narahari ji, can you please tell us what you have been talking about? Well, let me tell you, you want to know what I've been talking about? I have been talking about sorrow. I have been talking about delusion. I have been talking about, fear. And I have been talking about all kinds of sickness, suffering, disease, death, and what else? And all kinds of hunger and thirst. Ityadi, as though that is not enough, etc. etc. Means other things that I have mentioned, but we don't have time here in this small verse. Other things, which I have talked about, which you have enjoyed in details. Vividham dukkham means manifold kinds of sorrow, manifestations of sorrow in great detail. Here, Sankshepa Kirtanam. Kirtanam means we are celebrating its fame. We are singing the praise of sorrow, delusion, fear, hunger, abandonment, anger, disease, death, geriatry, life after life after life, in short. And what is this? It is to get some jugupsa. What is jugupsa? A certain kind of a shying away from that. Yeah. Certain kind of not wanting to go near all these things, because these are anartha vrataha. Anartha means that which is unwanted. Vrata means group. This is a wonderful group of unwanted things. All the unwanted things, if you want to make a list, this is what I have been talking about. But why have you been? I've been singing the praise of the unwanted. Why have you been singing the praise of the unwanted? So that, oh, you Vimudha, the one who is reading it, can actually want the only thing to be wanted, which is you. That's what it is. That's why you have to, that's why sometimes, they have people with a sign wanted on them. So this is what the whole thing is. You are the one that is really wanted. And if you are not understanding that, you are wanton. That's all it is. And so, in short, he has been singing the praise. This is ironical because the kirtanam, kirtan means what? Singing the praise of Bhagavan. Here he is singing the praise of everything other than Bhagavan. So that Bhagavan is revealed. This is teaching through Neti Neti. Because everything other than Bhagavan is glorified. The inglorious is glorified so that it is dropped. By the time even the most tenacious person holding on to the inner garbage of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya lets it go. You have to pry out the fingers one by one because the holding is so hard. So you're clutching, and that clutching is let go. Even in Buddhism, they talk of clutching. They must have got it from this only. So this clutching, you have to ease, and this happens naturally. This is called aversion therapy. This is what it is. This is what they do in prisons to incarcerated habitual offenders. So for the habitual offenders, sometimes it's an addiction. You see a bank, you can't pass it without robbing it. That's all. I can't help it. It's an addiction. The bank happened to be there. And so what will they do to such people? They have a special therapy. They'll show the picture of a bank, and then as soon as the person is drooling, they will show some sludge and garbage immediately. They'll juxtapose the two images so that the bank is associated with the garbage. So they'll show a beautiful lady dancing, and then they'll show some sludge and sewage. So that the two are juxtaposed together, and so the habitual offenders, that in the subconscious, if there is any kind of an association, because the subconscious works through association. So if there is a happy association, that happy association is cut, and an inglorious one is placed in its stead. It's a very effective way of reconditioning the mind, and it works also, at least for some time. And so here also I think the aversion therapy they learned from Bodhasara and the Upanishads. And so here, this 14 verses here called what is it called? Vritti Vidambana? No, what is it called?
This particular set.
Karma Vidambana. Karma Vidambana. This whole section called the deception of action. So the deception of action leading to sorrow, fear, delusion, hunger, thirst and all the aforementioned anartha vrataha is described in detail because you give up action immediately. Meaning after class you go straight to bed. Don't do anything. Don't do anything because why? All the doing is fraught with troubles. So that doesn't mean you go to bed. You understand that you are not the doer. You're an as though doer. And you're as though done in by your own and other people's doings. You're not the doer. And this is what is the purport of this section. So it gives a certain grina, a certain hatred for all these things. And since I don't like shoka, moha, all these things that are talked about here, then I should not engage in the activities which keep reproducing them limitlessly. Instead, I just go straight away for the limitless. Okay? So, Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Hari
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Any questions are there? If there are, you can ask. Is it the deception of others before they deceive us? For any case they are going to abandon you. No. You don't deceive. The word deception is you are it's about deception is equal to delusion. It's not like that. Here there's a part of each person that feels I don't want to leave them, so I don't want to be left, so I'm going to leave. So it's more of a pragmatic way of teaching. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, the second one is correct. To give up the external things. You don't have to give up things. You give up the way you think about and look upon the things as going to fulfill all your expectations. So that is the idea, to look upon the things external to you as not being the source, the ultimate source of your own happiness or your own contentment, and to look upon them as finite. That is the idea. Any other questions? You had a question?
I'm just thinking that when we encounter someone who is unstable,
Yes.
Let's say you're a worker in a psych ward,
Yeah.
and you're constantly, or an addiction facility, a rehab facility, and you're constantly encountering people whose behavior you have been trying to correct,
Yeah.
and you're trying to help them, and like your village idiot,
Yeah.
neither do they know what to do, nor will they listen
Yes.
to what is to be done. And when frustration arises, what does one do? There's these stories of the Buddha
Yeah.
being asked by groups of monks who are arguing with each other, saying, we are right, they're wrong, please help us out.
Yes.
And he would try to do that, and when neither side would listen to him, and he'd just smile and walk away.
Yeah.
But in the world we live in,
Yeah.
we cannot walk away from that psych ward patient,
No.
or from the addicted rehab center patient,
No.
or whoever it is that is. So what is the correct response to that,
Yeah.
if not to walk away?
Yeah. You can't walk away. Just like Arjuna could not walk away from the psycho called Duryodhana. He had to face him.
He was in a psych ward.
Yeah.
That's right.
They were all psychos. The Kauravas were psychos. That was the first, exposure. Because some other time I'll tell you how Mahabharata describes Duryodhana. Oh, that is something to read. It is just awesome. And anyhow, so he was a sociopath, Duryodhana. That's how the Mahabharata presents him. So you can't walk away. But what Arjuna is described, what Arjuna is told to do is to see it as a role. In the 11th chapter, he is told, Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Hey Savyasachin. Savyasachi means the one who could discharge arrows, ambidextrously with both hands. He was not left-handed or right-handed. He could use both his hands wonderfully. So here you are, you think you are the doer. And when he had cold feet at the battle, and in the 11th chapter again, it is, the Lord assures him in the 1st and the 11th chapter that you are not fighting this battle. In fact, look, all these people are killed, he says. In the 11th chapter, they are hanging in between my teeth. Now I have to floss them out because here they are. They are literally.
Kala has taken them over.
Danshtra karalani bhayanakani. In these row of teeth of the Vishwarupa, the teeth themselves were as big as mountain ranges, and in between them these Arjuna, Duryodhana, Dushasana, all these people were screaming. They were saying, help, Trahimam, Pahimam, they were screaming. So he says, look, the battle hasn't yet begun, but you can see them in between my teeth. That means they're already dead. They're already dying. You are just playing a role. You can't, you're not doing anything other than playing the role. So, for the people who are working in these kinds of situations or who have a loved one in this kind of a situation, what the best we can do is to do the role, perform the role, and the one can perform the role better if there is a space between the person and the role. The person is a devotee firmly connected to Bhagavan, and the role is just an offshoot of the person. Devotee plus mother, devotee plus father, devotee plus co-worker. It's the devotee who is the employer, devotee who is the employee. So when the devotee is the connected person, the person connected to Bhagavan performs the role, there is a little bit of an inner space. Like even a highly paid actor playing the role of a begging person. So he has to wear tatters and he has to put some, black paint and all these dirty colored paint on himself. And then he goes and he says, oh, help me, I'm cold, I'm lonely, I haven't eaten. And even though he's acting very well, somewhere he's feeling happy. Look, even without glycerine, I was able to produce tears. Maybe there's an Oscar waiting for me. Whether there's an Oscar or not, but he knows that at the end of the day, he can take off these rags. He, even as he's performing the role of of an impoverished person, his bank account is growing. He knows that. And he knows he can go inside his house in Beverly Hills or in his porch, sit under an umbrella and have a drink with its own umbrella. He knows that. He has that inner space. That inner space has to be cultivated. Just like Shakespeare said, all the world is but a stage. Men and women are actors. So we have to see that this is just doing the job and doing it to the best of our ability. And that's why the prayer helps, laying the frustrations at the feet of the Lord, at the altar of surrender, so that there is no hangover the next day. Yeah, that's what Arjuna was advised. That's what I would say. Good question. And sometimes you may have to walk away, That's all it is. Sometimes if it's an impossible situation, and if your presence is not making any difference whatsoever, maybe it's time to walk away. In some rare cases. If it's abusive situation, something like that, yeah. Any other questions? Isn't the type of detachment through aversion also the kind of temporary detachment talked about earlier? Well, you have to begin somewhere. Yeah, you have to begin somewhere. And we don't look at it as detachment because you are never attached. So it's more like being uninvolved. Yeah, you have to begin somewhere. Because don't forget, in the Jihasa Vairagya section, she's referring, Vasanti is referring to the earlier section. In the Jihasa Vairagya section, he praises both of them. Jignasa Vairagya and Jihasa Vairagya as both are exalted. Yeah. The point is they lead you to Vairagya. So it doesn't matter. Okay. 4 o'clock it is. Thank you very much. Rita, we have something small for you.
Oh, no.
Yes, yes. Please, come. It's nothing, it's so small.
How did Mauricio hear about your talk?
I told him.
Oh, we
Yeah.
ran into each other.
Oh,
Yeah,
he came. He asked to meet me. So so he came.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Would anybody like any tea? I'm embarrassed to be the only one drinking.
No,
Oh, my
no,
goodness,
it's
so
okay.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having. It's in
Yes.
this case we can say it's nice to be had.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave my cord here.
Yeah,
And
please.
then I'll be back a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit before 4. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, can we leave these things here? Can we leave the things here?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
we can leave everything
Absolutely.
here. You can just
Sort of
leave
push this
everything
back.
It
here.
might be attached to taking. Oh, this is still going, Swamiji.
Oh, it is?
Stop.
We got a little extra.